In the last section, we wrote out all of our application code for the Node.js server. Now that we've got all that stuff put together, we're going to put together a little Docker file that's going to be basically identical to the one that we had put together previously. This Docker file's sole purpose is going to be to put together this Node application. And so essentially it's representing this side of the equation. This Docker file is going to have nothing to do whatsoever with our Redis server. So it's solely concerned with the Node app for now. So let's get started on this. Inside of my code editor, I'll find my visits folder. Inside there, I'll make a Docker file. Then inside of here, we're going to again see some code that's very identical to what we put together on our last application. We'll first specify our base image as node alpine. We'll then set up a working directory. We'll again use app as a working directory. And then remember, we're going to use a little strategy to make sure that we only try to rebuild the image anytime that we change the package.json file. And we won't rebuild the image if we make any changes to the source code, like in the index.js file. To make sure that's the case, we're going to first copy over only the package.json file. We'll then run npm install to get all of our different dependencies. And then we'll copy over all of the rest of our source code with copy ... And then finally, we'll start up our server with cmd npm start, like so. Okay, so again, basically the same thing as what we wrote previously. Let's now flip over to our terminal and try building an image out of this Docker file. So I'll go back over to my terminal. I'm going to make sure I'm inside of my visits directory, and I'll run docker build . We're then going to see the familiar steps. You might see that red text again, something that says notice right there, and you might see the 3 warnings. Those are totally fine. You can completely ignore those. So then down here at the bottom, we see the ID of the image that was created. Now, chances are we might not be making a tremendous number of changes to this image. So I think we should go ahead and just tag this image with a name right now, or give it some name, so that we don't have to keep carrying around this ID all the time. So let's rerun that docker build command, but rather than putting a dot right at the end, we'll say docker build, and then we will -t to tag it, and I'll put in my name, or my Docker username that is, / the name of our project, which is visits, and then I'll put a tag on it by indicating the little colon with latest. And then after that, I'll put the period to indicate that we want to build out of the current directory. All right, so there we go. That's it. We've now got our tagged Docker image. So let's take a quick break right here, and we'll come back to the next section, and we'll start getting a better sense of how to get this thing to work along together with a separate container that's running Redis.